Alright. Okay, let's see here. Alright. Alright. Look, Daryl. Seriously. Really? Okay. So I've only got a few minutes to say this, but I've got quite a lot to say about your video, sir. So this is part one of my responses to your video that you posted claiming that Obama is the Antichrist. But I'm sure you, like every single other self-righteous backwoods Baptist Bible thumper out there, can't accept confrontation, and you likely don't possess the integrity or even gonads to actually watch this entire video. So it's not really so much for you as it is for the poor souls who may be impressionable enough to actually swallow all of the bullshit you just regurgitated onto their screens. Firstly, I want everyone watching this to know that I am not and never have been an Obama supporter. I do not believe that he's a good president, but I do believe that his 2 terms in office have been and will continually prove to be America's biggest fraggo. I for one would be first to be in line to listen to an actual evidence uh, supporting that he really is the Antichrist. But I regret that I was unfortunate enough to have my time wasted for an entire half an hour about nonsense which has no relevance at all to this claim. Secondly, how is it that someone who actually says do on his video possesses the ability to school anyone about how to open a jar of mayonnaise, much less the identity of the harbinger of the apocalypse? I mean, really? In the words of my grandfather, you really have to be shitting me 6 ways from Sunday. I mean, really. Okay? Now, however, before I take the time to school you, as you are obviously incapable of providing any real information that supports your claim, I do have one question, though. How many times did your mother need to copulate with her sibling in order to conceive a child with the intelligence quotient so dismally low? I mean, that had to take a lot of effort. Now, moving on, okay, now, this moron actually started off saying that Obama runs the world. Where is Daryl getting this information from? It was only recently that Obama stated his displeasure that the UN voted to recognize a Middle Eastern country. So, obviously, if he ran the world, I don't think that, that they would have overruled something he voted against. He might actually have more pull if he really did run the world. Now... you then go on to say that Obama was the first president to say that America is not a Christian nation. Really? Daryl, how can you say, to check your history, if you yourself have never actually studied the subject? I don't understand that. It was, as a matter of fact, Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd president of the United States, and to this day considered still to be one of the founding fathers of this country, said in a letter to Horatio Spafford, quote, "In every country and every age, the priest has been hostile to liberty. He is always in alliance with the despot, abetting his abuses in return for protection to his own. It is easier to acquire wealth and power by this combination than by deserving them, and to effect this, they have perverted the purest religion ever preached to man into mystery and jargon, unintelligible to all mankind, and therefore the safer for their purposes." In a letter also to Mrs. Harrison Smith, he wrote, "It is in our lives, and not from our own words, that our religion must be read. By the same test the world must judge me. But this does not satisfy the priesthood. They must have a positive and declared assent to all their interested absurdities. My opinion is that there would never have been an infidel if there had never been a priest." That was August 6th, 1816. These are only 2 of many things he said about religion and Christianity. You can read more by clicking the link in the description or by copying and pasting, however you choose. Okay. Now, does this sound like something a Christian man in the early years of our country would have said? Furthermore, William Lynn, a Dutch Reformed minister in New York City, made perhaps the most violent of all attacks on Jefferson's character, all of it based on religious matters. In a pamphlet entitled Serious Considerations on the Election of a President, Lynn accused Jefferson of the heinous crimes of not believing in divine revelation and of a design to destroy religions and introduce immorality. He referred to Jefferson as a true infidel and insisted that an infidel like Jefferson could not, should not be elected. Let's see. He concluded the pamphlet with his appeal for Christians to defeat the infidel from Virginia. He also quoted, "Will you then, my fellow citizens, with all this evidence, vote for Mr. Jefferson? As to me myself, were Mr. Jefferson connected with me by the nearest ties of blood, and did I owe him 1,000 obligations, I would not and could not vote for him. No sooner than stretch forth my hand to place him at the head of the nation, let mine arms fall from my shoulder blade, and my arm be broken from the bone." Quoted by Padaver, page 117. Now, why would contemporary clergymen have so vigorously opposed Jefferson's election if he was devoutly Christian, as all you modern Christians claim, even preachers? The answer is that Jefferson was not a Christian, and the preachers of his day knew that he wasn't. But you know what? I digress for right now, until part 2.